I sort of touched on it, the margins, if we'd, that we did model out quite a bit. Andy's a bit of a quant, and, I always like to sort of use all of our experience and knowledge. I didn't feel like either of us were very naive coming into this, but the margins on our product are good, and we're selling right in kind of the sweet spot of where, they typically net out for a high quality, small handmade ski company. But the challenge was quality control. It's a byproduct of the manufacturing process itself. It's just very inexact. You're using materials that have variances to them, and the assembly process is pretty, as I said, it's analog. And so there's us being direct consumer, we didn't feel like we had the latitude to give anything but perfect skis to people. So we ended up with a lot. I don't know. I think it was close to 30% of our inventory didn't pass the QC inspection of the manufacturer. So
wow.
It wasn't us nitpicking. It was just the reality, and that was way outside of our modeling, and that was tough. But the great news is we sold through mid 90% of the inventory we had, which was basically above or right near where we projected. So all of our projections that we could control were good, and that would have led to profitability. The part that was the problem was we didn't have the inventory to sell to get our numbers. But again, that's part of the inspiration or the drive to re-engineer the manufacturing process, because everybody wants better stuff, quicker, cheaper, and more precise.
Right.
And that's what we're sort of delivering.
Hey, Andy, come on back in here, because you're building this business with Bode. I'm wondering where else you can go here, because I know you guys were talking about doing a Bode Miller Ski Academy. You ended up pulling the plug on the Granby Ranch location in Colorado back in 2022. Where else can you guys go as a partnership?
Well, kind of the sky's the limit, as they say. Neither of us feel like retired guys nowadays. I can tell you that for darn sure. We come at this business and this effort with a great deal of passion for the outdoors, the mountains, certainly from the ski industry, different angles of attack, but similar ethos and way of approaching things. There's a couple of different ventures that we have that we're taking on and considering. Right now, all of our emphasis and focus is on peak. And the primary reason being is coming back to this reengineering of the entire process by which skis are made. That puts us in a position to be 3-4 years down the road having our machinery process that we, with a smile on our face, we call a treadstone, because it is fairly confidential information that we're working with this group in Germany. But nonetheless, it's something that we anticipate being a place where we can have 30, 35, 40% of the world's market share made on our machines and our process. And that is where, when I mention value creation, that's where it comes into play.
So does that mean, Andy, you guys will be making skis for other companies, other brands?
Yes, ma'am. In fact, might be interested to know my best effort at a Yogi Berraism is the least important thing about our company are the skis, but they're critical. And the reason being, the skis are critical, but at the same time, we're in this to innovate for the innovation on so many different fronts, including the process.
Right. So at Bode, it's like becoming the Luxottica of skiing, right? Like you don't care what the brand is, but if you can improve the process, that's okay. Or being like a foundry.
You're talking about really established companies, but the irony is, besides attaching and incredible people, Andy and I are big fans of many of the companies that we're competing against. And in this way, we're not looking to steal market share from them, because at a certain point it becomes annoying to manage logistics. In this case, our goal is to have 10 purchase orders and be delivering 2 million pairs of skis. And the advantage that I don't see it stopping there, because we can deliver them for $20 or $30 or $40 less than they make them for themselves now. Plus, they can divest of all their other sort of liabilities, even though a lot of their equipment's amortized. Right. They understand that there's a lot of fluff there. There's a lot of loss, and we can clean that up, as well as there's things like gray market skis that there's a little bit of the inventory is out of control. So I don't see it stopping. I can't see a company saying, "Hey, build us these 500,000 pairs, and we're going to build the other 500,000 for $40 more and deal with 15% waste."
Yeah. Their accountants or their whole financial team might say, "Wait a minute, let's talk about that." Guys, the impact of climate change, Bode, and the lack of snow, how are you incorporating that risk and reality into your business? I mean, we've finally seen some snow here in New York City, but it's barely a sprinkling here. But innovating with the idea that more and more skiers may be skiing on man-made snow. How does that come into it? And Bode, we've got about 30, 40 seconds here.
Yeah, it's just the reality that we're facing. I think the ski industry is remarkably healthy. I don't think it's an immediate thing for the ski industry. I think it's certainly important that we be dealing with it and addressing it. And in our company, recyclability of the skis is a huge part of the technology we're working with as well. So, I don't see it being a massive problem, but you are going to have years like this year where it's been really tough. The beginning of the season's been tough.
But do you innovate differently? Bode, do you make different types of skis because of maybe more man-made snow? Just quickly.
No, not really. I mean, you think of man-made snow as on-piste, and then there's off-piste skis. And yes, the trend has been going much wider. So we certainly address that end of the market where it's on-groomers, on-piste skis. But the reality is there's a huge demand across the board.